I now present Governor-elect Laura Kelly, along with Dr. Ted Doughty and their family.
Please raise your right hand. Do you, Laura Kelly, solemnly swear or affirm that you will support the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of Kansas and faithfully discharge the duties of Governor of the State of Kansas, so help you God?
I do.
Congratulations, Governor.
I really do. Well, welcome everybody. I particularly want to give a shout out to those of you on the other side of the perimeter fence. Thank you so much for being here. If it weren't for you, I wouldn't be standing here now. Thank you. I also want to say a few words about our Master of Ceremonies, Sarah Marsh. You know, I'm a big reader, and so I'm actually a bit awestruck right now to be in her presence. You know, she is a New York Times best-selling author, and she's a finalist for the National Book Award. That's awesome. Yeah, I just finished Sarah's book about 2 weeks ago, and in it, she tells her own story, and she tells it honestly and without reservation. And it's a story shared by so many in our state. She's a fifth-generation Kansan, and she's been a true inspiration to me and to so many others. But maybe most importantly, she's an inspiration to our children. Our children from every community who may be struggling, who may be facing adversity. What you've demonstrated is that hard work and grit really do make a difference, and that all children, no matter who they are or where they're from, are precious and do great things if given the opportunity. So thank you, Sarah. Thank you for sharing your story, Kansas's story, with the entire world. I'm really humbled and so proud to stand here today to lead this great state that we all love, and to begin to turn the page, and to bring about a new chapter in the inspiring story of Kansas. We gather at this unique moment in America's history as the very values that shape our foundation are being tested. The ideals that bind us are being strained, and sometimes it can feel like the forces of division are succeeding. But it is at these very moments when we're being tested the most, Kansans always shine. It's who we are. You know, when the evils of slavery came knocking on our door at the dawn of the Civil War, Kansans fought for freedom and joined the Union as a free state. When women struggled to gain the right to be recognized in our democracy, Kansas was among the first states to give us the right to vote. Yeah. When fascism threatened the free world about 80 years ago, Kansas trained the fighter pilots who joined the Allied forces under the leadership of our native son, Dwight Eisenhower. Our resilience has been tried, and it is true. And while our story of progress has taken a few twists and turns, Kansas has always found its way forward. My own path to this podium was a very unlikely one. I was not born into politics, but I was born into public service. I'm the daughter of a career military officer. My parents taught me to put service and sacrifice above self, like so many of our military families do today. I lived on an Army post most of my childhood, surrounded by servicemen and women, so their sacrifices were always front and center. They were really a daily part of my growing up, and it made me even more grateful for the commitment they have to our country, just like the families of the deployed Kansas National Guard members who are here with us today. When my dad went to Korea and left us safe in America, I saw the worry and anxiety on my mother's face, and I felt the tension in our home every day until he returned. I want you all in the military to know that I recognize your sacrifices and I'm eternally grateful. Your families will always be in my thoughts and in my actions. You see, public service is in my blood. When I graduated high school, I went to work helping kids who face significant struggles and challenges. And since then, it's been my mission to do right by children and their families. In fact, that mission brought me here to Kansas over 3 decades ago. My husband and I chose to put down roots here because to us, Kansas represented the very best of America. The story of Kansas is one of equality and opportunity. Decent, honest people working hard for their families. Vibrant cities and proud small towns. Strong, top-notch, best there is public schools. More than anything, we were drawn to the sense of community. Kansas is the type of place you want to raise your family, where strangers still say hello to one another and neighbors look out for one another. And that's what we knew made Kansas so special 32 years ago, and it still does. The people of Kansas never lost track of that. But somewhere along the way, that spirit of neighbor helping neighbor that runs so strong in our communities failed to extend into this building. Public service gave way to partisanship, and the voices of Kansas families were not heard. Kansas lost its sense of self, its sense of community. We can't let that happen again. We must be bigger than that. We must be guided by the values we share. We must forge a new chapter in our story starting today. Because there's so much that connects us as Kansans. We want the same basic things. We want to know that our hard work will be respected, not just with a pat on the back, but a fair and livable wage and a chance to grow. We want to know that good health care will be there when we need it, and getting sick won't mean a second mortgage or even worse, homelessness. We want to look forward to retirement, not fear it. And more than anything, we want our children to be happy and to be safe. We want them to see the future as whatever they want it to be, not held back by anything. To succeed at whatever they choose to pursue and be able to do it close to home. So much of that starts in our public schools. Schools are the center of our communities. Strong schools unlock the doors of opportunity in a changing economy. Strong schools ignore the circumstances a child is born into and puts that child on equal footing. A quality education is what we cherish as Kansans. And our school teachers are not just a line item on a budget. They're pillars of our communities. Deserving of our respect and our gratitude. You know, in the words of our own Dwight Eisenhower, Teachers need our active support and encouragement. They are doing one of the most necessary and exacting jobs in the land. They are developing our most precious national resource, our children, our future citizens. The next time you see a teacher, thank her, thank him, because there is no higher calling than educating our children. It is public service at its very best. We must do more to lift up those Kansans who serve and encourage more to join their ranks. We see Kansans signing up every day to serve in the military, law enforcement, and in our schools. We also see Kansans signing up to be a youth sports coach, to be a mentor, to be a leader in our faith community, to volunteer. When I worked at the Kansas Recreation and Park Association, I was always so... Yeah, let me say that again. I was always so inspired by those folks who keep up our parks and our ball fields in our small towns all across this state. They often don't get paid much, but they often work more than one job, but they are committed to making their communities better one day at a time, one baseball game at a time, one theater performance at a time. Love you guys. And this work makes such a difference in the quality of our lives in our communities. There are lots of ways to serve. And today I ask all Kansans to find new ways to give back, to do a little more to make your community a better place to live. For those of us who are elected leaders, we must not only heed that call to serve, we have a special responsibility to live by the example that Kansans set every day. We must work together in the spirit of putting the collective good ahead of any individual ambition or agenda. We must seek to lift up all Kansans, regardless of whether they look like us, think like us, worship like us, love like us, or vote like us. That's how I approach business in the state Senate. It's the message we campaigned on last year, and it will be my guiding principle as your governor. Yeah, that's what Kansans expect of us, and they have every right to demand it of us. Because when Kansans sign up to volunteer at a local school or shovel snow for an elderly neighbor, they're not doing it as a Democrat or a Republican. They're just doing what's right, doing their part to make life a little better for those around them. We need to bring back that same spirit of service and cooperation to this building, and let the insults and finger pointing give way to compromise and a handshake. We need to put down the partisan swords and lift up the values that unite us as Kansans. Because in a day and age when politics can seem so small, we must be as big as the people who sent us here. That's Kansas. It's who we are. And that's the new chapter we must write. And we'll write it together, starting today. God bless you all, and God bless this great state of Kansas.